There you go. What a finale, my friends. What a finale. I'm talking, of course, about the very last episode of The Boys. I had my doubts throughout this season. I was being negative when I said that. Given how things were set up, they would never be able to deliver a satisfying finale. And I have to admit that I was wrong. There you go. It was perfect from start to finish. I felt emotional. I almost cried at the end. It was beautiful. It was so well written. In the end, there you have it. I was wrong, so I apologize. I apologize because I'm messing with you. Well, that was crap. Yeah, it was really terrible. Yet, I had hope because there were some leaks. There were some leaks. There are leaks even for The Boys now. There were leaks on Twitter and on Reddit, all that, the stuff from Shaitan. And actually, throughout season 5, there were leaks. And the leaks were confirmed week after week, so I ended up reading the leaks for the last episode. And when I looked at the leaks, I thought, hey, maybe it won't be that bad after all. Well, actually, the leaks were wrong. It wasn't true. On some points it was true. On other points it wasn't true. Like the thing with Kimiko, that she's not from Soldier Boy and that she loses her powers and all that. That was true. The ending with Butcher, that was true, but everything else wasn't true, so there you go. Knowing that even if they had stuck to what I read, it would have been a satisfying ending, let's say, but not an exceptional one either. This time it's bad, but it's really bad. It really is. Come on, let's just wrap up all the storylines like that. Shut up. Come on, that's it. It's over now. Come on. Shh. Ouch. There you go. I mean, the ending, though, after all that build-up over 5 seasons, nearly 40 episodes, what's the final arc? It's the guys who decide, okay, let's go to Homelander's place, let's beat him up, that's it, that's it. Actually, they show up at the guy's place, at Homelander's place, and they beat him up. And this time, it works, because, well, it's the last episode, so it has to work. Because screw you. That's why, that's it, that's basically it, right? There's no subtlety. It's lame. I don't even know where to start to tell you how lame it is. There's the deep, the deep, the deep, the deep. Honestly, he was a character I liked because he was kind of a lovable loser despite everything. You think, damn, when Black Noir showed up at the end of the last episode, maybe that's it. The character will wake up and stop being an asshole. And then he's going to get into it. He's going to assert himself a bit more and all that. Actually, no, he goes to see Homelander and he's like, yeah, I'm your biggest fan and so on. And Homelander says, I hate you. I'm keeping you alive just because I want to see how miserable your life will be. Which is weird in a way because actually Homelander, we're told that he's looking for approval, that he's looking to be admired, to be loved. Then the Deep shows up and he's like, damn, you're my idol. And Homelander goes, no, I hate you. Well, maybe the Deep's admiration isn't sincere, but still you think, well, what do you want, white man? Really? Well, anyway. And so at the end, the Deep fights against Starlight, who from one scene to another knows how to fight, and then in another and another and another, she's useless. Well, they're attacking Homelander. It's the final attack. She has to face the Deep. She flies off with her magic powers, her superpowers. She sends him, I don't know how many miles away, to put him near the sea. And you think, why would you send him near the sea? If I had to fight Aquaman, I'd make sure to be anywhere, to be everywhere except near the sea. But go on, come on, go on, I'll take him near the sea. I think to myself, hey, actually, she's strong, she takes a beating, then he shows up, bam, bam, he takes some big blasts and everything. He doesn't give a damn, he throws some big punches at him, you think he's getting beaten, but then all of a sudden, she gets mad. Yeah, she throws punches at him, she hits him with a Kamehameha, she blasts him with a flash, he goes into the water, and there, all the sharks are there, with a giant kraken and everything, just waiting. Kevin, you'll pay for the pipeline deaths. You'll see, dude. And he gets impaled by a giant tentacle. And he tries to escape for a while, and he's swimming at normal speed. It's supposed to be Aquaman. You're really taking us for fools here. I mean, we just saw him take a hit at Mach 3, then he crashes on the beach, and he's totally fine. It's not even like, ouch, that stings a bit. It's more like, let's fight. He was truly fresh as a daisy. No problem. He takes a Kamehameha, no problem. There's a tentacle going up his ass. That's a problem. And he can't swim. So you don't know what you want to do with him, and that's it. So his death isn't funny. It's not satisfying. It's lame. The character was going nowhere, actually. So I wasn't expecting him to rebel against Homelander or anything, but the character was going nowhere. You could have imagined him making one final sacrifice to try to save his idol, only for his idol to reject him anyway. It would have been more interesting if he realized he was pathetic until the end. As it is, there's not even that. I think that's kind of lame. And above all, why even pair Starlight with the Deep as if there were some kind of arc between those two characters when there really isn't? Their story from the beginning has been settled for a long time. I don't get the point. It was extremely disappointing. That preacher guy, the one with the booming voice who gets taken out by some kind of ball thing and his head explodes in 2 seconds. Well, okay. How lame is that? It wasn't satisfying either. I'm sorry, it was lame. Especially since it's a character who, on top of that, wasn't even that useful. That's it. That's it. It wasn't good. Kimiko's arc is just sad because Frenchie died. But I can't control the power. But then there's Sister Sage who shows up, who really annoys me. I blast her with a ray. She loses her power. She comes to mess you up. I didn't notice any difference before or after. I didn't see the difference. What a scam, that too. Speaking of scams, the characters in Gen V, that's just shameful. Honestly, don't even show them. Don't show them. Okay. There, you just tell them, we don't need you anymore, your show flopped. Here, put them in the moving truck and sell them to random people. I don't even know who they are. I didn't watch season 2, I don't care. But like I was saying, we have the Summer at IP, like she's able to beat Homelander, whatever, but that's cool. We're going to face a suicide attack at the White House, but we don't take the other super strong ones with us. No, go to Canada, that's better. Damn. So lame, just terrible, there's nothing. But wait, all that for this? Come on, at least try to make some kind of conclusion. She could at least try to immobilize Homelander or do something to help. She should take part. That would have been kind of lame and typical, like the main villain facing all the main characters. And then you have all the side characters showing up and going, oh, go ahead, I've got him. But yeah, it could have been cool to do that if they had really gone all out with the demigod Homelander. Demythologizing, I'm throwing out some complicated words here. I mean, like 2 episodes before, 3 episodes before, 2 or 3 episodes before, we're thinking, he took the V1, he's more powerful than ever, okay? Well, that's season 3, I think. It's season 3 or 4, I don't remember. When Soldier Boy showed up, I think it was season 3. Because Soldier Boy wasn't in season 4, he came back in season 4. So yeah, so it's in season 3. Season 3, Soldier Boy, Butcher on V, Huey on V, the 3 of them go after Homelander, bam, 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 they're struggling, and then they manage to bring him down. The other guy uses his laser, but Homelander overpowers him and escapes at the last moment. But at that moment, there was Soldier Boy. I think even Butcher was stronger back then, with his lasers and everything. There was that. They didn't manage to take him down. Now, we have Homelander on V1, Butcher on Preserved One, and just Kimiko, who has always been more or less useless, and Ryan, who shows up at the last minute like a cameo. You get the feeling he's not really struggling, actually. Even in a one-on-one with Homelander, you feel like Butcher could win. He's struggling, but he lands real punches and makes him bleed, so you wonder, isn't he supposed to be even stronger now? And actually, no. And he's struggling to get away. He's trying to escape, and they're flying really slowly, just so they can catch up to him. But just a few scenes before, he takes on that sort of Elon Musk parody, if you want. It's not about making a UN door, because that's a lame thing. It wasn't funny. He grabs him instantly, sends him into space, comes back, and now he's struggling to fly away. He's having a hard time flying away. You think, wow, the final fight was really crappy. And actually, that's the problem with this series. The further it went on, the less ambition it had, really. There was this debate on social media, on the English-speaking side of social media and all that, so I followed that. They were showing clips from the first seasons. Early on, there were wide open spaces with views of the city and a lively world, but over time, it shifted to mostly confined settings and brief scenes in small spaces. I mean, the final battle takes place in the Oval Office. There's no scale, there's nothing. You have the most powerful soups fighting each other, they throw a punch, they fly a meter away. It's not even like, flying through the sky or anything. No, it's just them throwing little punches at each other. Even Power Rangers has better action during mega boss fights than this. It was lame. They sell us Homelander as the most powerful one, but what does he actually do that's so much more powerful than the others? Okay, he has his lasers and stuff, his lasers that only go through people when the script says so. Otherwise, they don't work. I really don't see the point of this mess. So yeah, Homelander's so-called V1, I didn't understand how that made him more powerful. So maybe it made him immortal, but that's it. I'm extremely disappointed the series lacks scope, and that was actually the finale. If you wanted to prove he was a great Superman, now was the moment. Wow, it was now or never. And the mean thing he does in this last episode, the last really cruel thing he does, is to throw the fake Elon Musk into space. To come back to give a speech saying, I am your new God of America. And at the end he says, and those who don't believe I will purge them, ha ha ha. That's all. Can't you make a scene where he goes through a city, burns everyone, shows that he's really an evil god? No, it's just the last evil thing Homelander does is give a speech where he threatens people. If you don't like me, I'll kill you. That's it. That was his original plan. So next time, as you know, if you want to make a good villain, before he gives his speech to say, I'm the new god of this world, first you do something a bit cataclysmic that feels like divine punishment or divine retribution, and then you give your speech. There you go. Or you punctuate your speech with something. I'll take an example like in Dragon Ball, Perfect Cell. He shows up on national television. He arrives, kills all the journalists, boom, 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 cameraman, wait 2 seconds, I have something to say. He says, in 9 days I'll hold a tournament, try to beat me. Then he destroys the city behind him, warning your world could end up like this, and tells them to get it together. See you in 10 days, and then he disappears. Now that works, you see, now there's terror. Now I'm thinking, everyone is thinking, now humans are fleeing all the cities. Damn, the king just got destroyed, it's a mess. That's it. How is it that Homelander, who's really supposed to be Superman, right? He has the same powers and everything, invincible, he has the serum, so he's even more powerful and invincible than before. He doesn't do any of that. He just talks, talks, talks. That's it. And he gets manhandled by 3 bums. Who managed to hold him back? That's it. And so Kimiko shows up, she takes away everyone's powers. This time it works. That's it. And on top of that, it's a bullshit power to introduce at the last second. Here, we'll give you the powers. Go ahead, go on. And then, Homelander doesn't have any powers anymore. And then he says, Butcher, well, you're not gonna kill me. I can suck you off, eat your crap, and everyone sees that. And so that's the end. And Butcher kills him. He kills him kind of like in the comic. In the comic, Black Noir is the one who kills him like that, but whatever. And then after that, it's over. And it sucks. Even Homelander's death, I'm sorry, it's not satisfying. Now, the moment when Butcher lands some heavy punches on him, yeah. But after that, the moment when he goes, I'm gonna suck you off, it's lame. It's lame. It's lame. Because actually, it doesn't say anything more about the character. We already knew he was pathetic. We already knew he was pathetic. The thing just confirms that he's pathetic without his powers. That's something we already know. I didn't understand what the point of that ending was. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could have come up with something else. Maybe a real fight, It would have been cool if they actually fought, like, I don't have any powers anymore, but I'm still gonna prove myself. And then, all of a sudden, he enjoys being human, Like, he gets an adrenaline rush or something. He really fights against Butcher and everything. With a little something. Come on, I regret nothing. You see, at least at the end, he would have been a bit dignified. You know what I mean? I don't know. It would have been more surprising. Because it was obvious he was going to mess himself, actually, once he didn't have any more power. You know what I mean? It was expected, actually. It wasn't impressive. You don't feel like Butcher achieved anything remarkable? We knew she was a bitch. It would have been more surprising to hear that at the end, he actually showed some guts. No, not here. It's I'm going to suck you off. That's it. Now, I know the show has become that we can't really deny. It has become a kind of satire, parody, an anti-Trump thing. That's it. So here, it's not actually Homelander saying, I'm crap, I'm going to suck you off. It's actually Trump. Because, there was the bus and everything. You just say, well, why not, huh? Once again. But I wonder if the show wouldn't have been better if they hadn't gone down that path. Honestly, because I think it's lame. There you go, all the symbolism. Yeah, but the final battle takes place in the Oval Office and everything. Well, that's already the case in the comic. Granted. I don't know, it wasn't good. It wasn't satisfying. I even think the parody was too heavy-handed. So you can make a crude parody, a crude satire by trying to hit the mark a little by saying there's a bit of wit there. You see what I mean? There was no wit. It's not that they're making parodies, satires of American society, and they've been doing it for years and years. Sometimes they go into the absurd and the grotesque, but there's always a bit of wit behind it. There's a second layer of meaning that's interesting. There's no hidden meaning here, only the obvious one. You see it right away. It's not interesting. We got the idea. And they repeat it to you. They go over it again and again, over and over, over and over. It was a bit poorly done. Now, I'm not against making fun of Trump. Why not, right? But you already do it everywhere, all the time. It's annoying. I've already talked about it. But in everything we watch today, it's always about Trump being excited. But on top of that, your thing doesn't even work. He still wins the elections. It's terrible. It's really terrible. Either let him do it well or don't do it at all, please. And above all, stop doing just that, just that, just that, just that, just that. We got it at first, the satire of Hollywood, the fact of idolizing people, all that. It wasn't really about politics at first. Well, there wasn't any politics at the beginning. There's a difference between addressing political topics, meaning social issues, which every work is supposed to do more or less on different levels, and actually being political. It's not the same, We'll need to distinguish between the two. Some people can do both very well, though I can't think of an example, but it must exist. But when you try to focus only on one aspect of the thing, like just the entertainment side and stuff, which could actually give you an interesting perspective on social issues, that gets lost. It's just, no, actually, there aren't really any more social questions to ask. It's just that Trump is bad. That's it. Trump is bad. They're just going to tell you that Trump is bad. He is probably, I don't know, but he is. Be more subtle. You can but why is Trump bad? Now that's interesting. That's interesting. You see, but that's not it. He's bad. It's a bit. It's not subtle. There's no. It's just grotesque, and it's not interesting to watch. As a result, Homelander lost his aura. However, in season 4, there was an episode where he returned to get revenge and torture those who had abused him as a child. You notice something interesting happening, but then it's completely forgotten. That's it. That's it. That's a shame. It's honestly really, really a shame to have taken that turn and to have handled it badly. Really, really badly. There you go. I also read that, well, it's just a theory, that I saw on the internet. And it's not just with the boys, it's with other things too. It's that as soon as something in pop culture is appreciated by, how could I put this, by somewhat conservative circles in the US, well then it absolutely must not be the case. The character must not be appreciated by that side because otherwise people might think we're endorsing it. So we do everything to ridicule that character and make sure those people don't like them anymore. That also explains it. According to those who say that, I'm not claiming it's true, but I find it interesting. They say that Joker 1, the character of the Joker, Arthur, what's his name again? I can't remember. Arthur. Right. In Joker 1, he was really appreciated in somewhat conservative circles, the masculinists, call it what you want. It's kind of a mishmash anyway. He was really appreciated. But it was a meme. It was just a meme, actually. That's what's silly. It wasn't a big deal. He's our role model. The film understood us. No, it was a meme. But anyway, they're saying, that's not what I wanted for my film, so I'll make a second one. A musical, where the Joker denies everything from the first movie, making that side dislike him. The problem is, nobody ended up liking it. You see what I mean? If that's the explanation, it makes sense. And I feel like Homelander, did I get that impression right? Is that what happened? Homelander became a meme, right? He still is, actually. He became kind of a meme for the American right, broadly speaking, the American right wing. They said, no, we're going to ridicule this character, even though he was already more or less ridiculous before. He wasn't ridiculous, he was more pathetic. It's not quite the same thing. Avant? Previously, they said they'd ridicule him so others wouldn't like him anymore, so they couldn't be accused of supporting. I'm not sure what. So there's a kind of moral panic because the character got a certain amount of attention, at least as a meme. That's it. Nobody actually admires Homelander seriously. That's stupid. Anyway, it's like saying, I seriously admire Frieza Friseur. Well, yeah, but that's just dumb. So it was just memes on the internet, and they said, no, we can't let this serve the other side's propaganda. Let's ridicule him. Which didn't really work, actually. It just ruined the series, in fact, and ruined the character. If it's true, once again, it's a theory I've seen. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm saying, well, when you look at it from a distance, you think maybe it's not so crazy that that's what happened. In any case, it's a shame that this series didn't want to talk about these social issues, but instead wanted to talk about politics, to be political. It's really a shame because as a result, the storytelling aspect, the aesthetic approach got thrown out the window. Really? I mean, what's this last season even offering? I mean, there are no big sets. It's not nice to look at. There aren't really any clever dialogues, you know. Really, there's nothing amazing. That's it. I'm sorry, it's lame. And then, so there's the end of all that. That's it. It's over, whatever, thingamajig, you know. They're celebrating the victory a bit, just chilling. I butcher see Ryan, and he says, go ahead if you want. We can start a new life, you, me, and Terror. And the guy says, no, I fought Homelander, but that doesn't mean I chose you. It's because you're not a good person. So actually, I don't want to live with you. I want to live my own life. Leave me alone. I don't love you anymore. You're a bastard and a different kind of monster. I want nothing to do with you. He says he's still feeling down, but it's okay because he still has Terror. Then he goes to see Terror, but the dog is dead. He was said to be old, so he died of old age. So, well, the last thing that connected him to his humanity is dead. He says, well, my dog is dead. I'm going to commit genocide. I'm going to destroy all the supers. But at the same time, I understand Butch's choice. Because we see Stan Edgar, I think that's his name, who comes back to lead Vought and says, well, we're going to make new supers now, but this time we're going to be careful to control them. We're going to control them more. So basically, it's starting all over again. In fact, they barely got rid of them, Homelander. So actually, Butcher is right. In this case, Butcher is right. He says it's just going to start again. Homelander is only the first step. We killed him. Now we have to cut the problem at the root. We have to destroy all the supers. Otherwise, it will never end and will keep repeating. We must put a stop to all of this. I'm going to release the virus. There you go. So I'm going to break into Vought Tower, wait for the supers to show up, and I'm going to spray the stuff into the water. So, just explain to me, if the guy has a remote control and he's already placed the thing, why is he still in the tower? He can't just leave, wait until office hours when they open, press KSS, and that's it, it's done. No, he had to wait there, wait for Huey to come join him, fight, try to stop him, and end up killing him. That's it. But it's to stay true to the comic, because in the comic, once again, well, I made a few mistakes last time because it's been a long time since I read it, but anyway. In the comic, Butcher kills a lot of supes and kills Homelander, and he also kills the boys. That's the main thing. He kills his own friends. He says, you're supes, because in the comics, they're also supes, taken from the comic book Huey too, by the way. You're all supes. All the supes need to disappear from the earth. That's my crusade. So I'm going to kill them all. He kills nearly everyone, including his friends. Then he insists we must stop him because he's completely crazy. And then you think, yes, he's completely crazy, actually, because in fact he had already achieved his goal. In the comic, if I remember correctly, he had already destroyed, killed the majority of the supers, you know. At the moment when he put his friends through his ordeal, I think it was before or after he put his friends through his ordeal, but anyway, he had achieved his goal. And he wanted to go even further, saying, no, all those who are left, I'm going to kill them, you know, whatever. So there, it made sense. Well, yes, it does make sense, but anyway, you could understand that Butcher was going completely crazy and that he wasn't a good guy. Here, as in the series, you don't think he's totally crazy. You think, yes, but he's right, since things are repeating. You see what I mean? But he had to be stopped. Obviously, it's not right to commit genocide, obviously, but he had to be stopped. But that's it. It's really just to stick to the comic, and it's weird that they chose to stick to the comic at the end. But it feels off. It's not. So yes, he stops him by shooting him, and so he dies, and that's it. It's over. Knowing that, well, it starts all over again, actually, since the president calls Huey afterwards. I don't know, maybe it's a year later. He says, yeah, actually, we're going to get back in. We're going to control vote again because they're starting to mess things up. Do you want to be part of the office? You'll report directly to me as president. And Huey says, no, it's fine. I'll handle my own business. He opened a shop, a store. Wow, I'm stuttering. So he opened an audiovisual equipment store, similar to the one he worked at in season 1. You see that Starlight is pregnant, that he named the baby Robin, the name of his ex-girlfriend. So I find that particularly inappropriate. But go ahead, why not? There is an incident, and Starlight is going to play the pregnant superhero. So in the end, and he's happy. Everything is fine. There's La Creme, who is remarrying his ex-wife. Well, why not? He knows very well that his ex-wife has been around, but go ahead, let's take it, go ahead, why not? And there you go, and Kimiko is going to France, to Marseille, and she's eating a Madeleine, and she's happy, and that's it, that's the end, actually. That means they arrested Homelander, but the problem is still there. There you go. So, in a way, they didn't really accomplish anything. That's what I think, in the end. There you go, I don't find any of this very satisfying. So the series is over, then there's Soldier Boy eating a burger, I don't know in which country. And there you go, that was the end of The Boys. And soon we're going to have Void Rising, or whatever it's called. Void Rising, I don't know what, the prequel to The Boys. It's going to be complicated to sell it to us, huh? We'll see, huh? We'll see, but honestly the show is just bad. You think, damn, we watched all that for this, no ambition, no big epic fight at the end. He just shows up at the White House, kills everyone, and that's it. That's all. I don't know. Honestly, it was disappointing. It was bad. I didn't feel anything. I don't know. Well, what is it? What is that? But well, at the same time, I shouldn't be surprised because maybe it was less bad than I could have imagined. But it's really like, let's just wrap up all the storylines and that's it. There's no real conclusion. It's over. It's over. That's over. That's over. That's over. You don't feel like there was anything tying it all together, making the conclusion satisfying. It's really a patched up ending, just slapped together at the last minute. It was simply disappointing and bad. It's a shame because it had such crazy potential. And in the end, well, no. Actually, the whole series is kind of like Game of Thrones, though the ending of Game of Thrones was more ambitious. It was written poorly, but still more ambitious. You had the dragon destroying King's Landing and everything. You did something crazy. So yeah, at least something was happening. But it was the same, because actually in Game of Thrones, they spend all the seasons telling you when the Night King arrives, it's going to be crazy. You don't get it, actually. They build it up for you, they build it up, the long night is coming, the long night is coming, the night arrives, and it only lasts one night already. Well, come on. Winter is coming, winter, it's just one episode, winter, come on. The battle is complete shit, and then Arya Stark shows up, pulls off an Assassin's Creed style move, and kills the king. Meanwhile, Jon Snow is on the ground elsewhere. So you're disappointed, same here. Every season we say just wait, like with Homelander, he'll lose it. You'll see, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. And when he finally loses it, he just gives a speech on TV, that's it. You're like, damn, all that for this. You sold me something, but you never delivered it. You're surprised people aren't happy? Of course we're not. Nobody wanted Kimiko to start swearing and making porn references. We didn't care about that. We wanted to see Homelander do crazy stuff. He didn't do anything wild. When we see him act crazy during the season, it's just in his mind. At one point during a big protest, people throw things at him and he snaps, imagining he burns 4,000 people at once. Actually, it's all in his head. You go, damn, when he does that live, we never actually see that. You never ever see that. Why? Why? I would just like to understand why you didn't do that. There was more budget, there was more money. Well, we'll never know. We'll never know. So that's the summary of this season. Well, it wasn't good. We spent half the season trying to sell us on the next prequel with a character we don't care about. Plus, Soldier Boy was fun for 5 minutes when he was being racist. Now he was annoying. I'm sorry, I have to say it like that. But he was funnier in season 3, he was funnier. Now he was lame. Anyway. He wasn't funny. So yeah, that happened. That's it, actually. That's all that happened. That's all that happened, actually. There was the prequel, there was the V1 Watch Out, that's supposed to be crazy, but actually V1 doesn't do anything wild at all. And then that's it, it's over. So it was crap. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. Because damn, season 1, season 3, those were masterclasses, you know? After that, it really got bad, you know? Well, anyway, that's how it is. What do you want me to say? So yeah, a waste of time. Yeah, a waste of time. I was tired when I got home from work yesterday, and on top of that, I watched the episode. I almost passed out before. Damn, I have to watch. I have to watch. Oh, waste of time. It was lame. That's pretty much all I had to say about this, The Boys finale. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's just say all that for this. We'll still watch the prequel, right? Just to see. But honestly, Puff, we lose interest quickly. Before leaving, let me remind you that a great way to support us on the channel is also through our Spatchel shop, where we sell the books published by my publishing house, Spatchel Editions. Here, Kyra, Volumes 1 and 2, the light novel, also available as an ebook. For those who are abroad and don't want to pay shipping fees, it's available as an ebook, compatible with all ebook readers, phones, Kindle, Kobo, whatever you want. Spatchel Jump 1, 0 and 1 are still available. There you go. No, actually, only number 1 is available. I shouldn't say anything wrong. We're out of stock for number 0. The Spatchel Bros number 1 large format is still available. There you go. Go take a look. There are also plenty of goodies on the website. So, if you want to support the channel and discover some bangers, well, it's all in the description and on Spatchel Bros. There you go. Thank you very much, and may passion guide you. Yes.